This is the DJV Download. I'm Doug.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Victoria.
This podcast made possible in part by Calitrin, the safe way to lose weight, Prevagen, keeping your brain healthy, and MyPillow, guaranteed the most comfortable pillow you'll ever own. The idea of celebrity at the Super Bowl, who shows up, who doesn't show up. I don't understand why Jennifer Lopez was there. I was at the movies watching her. How come she didn't recognize that and stay home from the game with me? That's what I want.
She went to a local theater in L.A. on Saturday night to see the movie.
Did she? Okay, good.
Yeah. She popped in and didn't have any fanfare, I guess, just wanted to see how people were reacting to the movie.
Mm-hmm. And how are people reacting to the movie? It's a good question. Are they like us, like you and me? We liked it.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I thought it was cute.
It's very likable. Yeah, it's a likable movie. Yeah. All right, so Jay, you're in charge of the list of celebrities that were in attendance to watch the game. Were they there to be seen or to see the game? I guess that's always the question, right?
Well, yeah, a lot of them were definitely, well, pretty much everyone was there to see the game, but you could always tell who wants to go unnoticed based on who's wearing hats or who's still wearing sunglasses, who's in the seats with the crowd, who has their own suite and everything. Everyone knows Dwayne Johnson was there. He kicked off that was
kind of fun. People like that, right? Didn't they?
Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds were there. LeBron James, everybody's talking about the video of LeBron James when Odell Beckham scored, and he just like went crazy because he's an Akron boy. He's a Cleveland boy. LBJ was, or not LBJ. Odell was on the Browns for a short period of time. So it was definitely nice to see that. Wait a minute.
Do they call LeBron James LBJ?
Yeah.
Really?
In Cleveland, yeah, we do.
That's taken a step and a half.
So OBJ and LBJ are friends?
Apparently.
Well, no, but that's not why I made note of it.
Because of the president, right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, how quickly we forget. Anyway, go ahead. Who else?
With all those celebrities you're reading, how many masks were seen in the crowd?
Well, the mask wasn't that lifted?
Noticing any.
No, it was not lifted. It was in full effect yesterday.
What?
You would know it by the Super Bowl.
No. I didn't see a single celebrity. Actually, Prince Harry and Princess Eugenie were the only two celebrities I saw wearing a mask. That was it.
And Eric Garcetti, our mayor, was there, not to interrupt your list of celebs, but he got in trouble because he said he was holding his breath when he was taking pictures. He was pictured
That's
all
adorable.
over the Super Bowl.
That's such an cute statement.
He was pictured all over the Super Bowl. No mask.
Who else was there?
But yeah, no Meghan Markle, Princess Eugenie, and Prince Harry. Kanye was there with two of his kids, North and Sate, and then
Kanye with a full hood on his head, and he was so hot. He had to take it off.
People were talking about Matt Damon was there, and he wasn't sitting with Ben Affleck. Martha Stewart was there. She was adorable. Can we just honor Martha Stewart? She's so fun.
She's 80. I just was looking at her again last night.
She was with Tracy Morgan.
She was sitting with him.
She was there to root on Snoop, his brother.
Yeah, I mean, Martha was there right, and so she was there to cheer for Snoop, but also Snoop and Martha hosted the Puppy Bowl. They were the coaches of Team Rough and Team Fluff, so they had a lot to do for the Super Bowl this year.
And who won?
I don't know who won. We don't have Animal Planet, but all the dogs got rescued, which is great. That's what the goal every year. All the puppies get adopted.
Mm-hmm.
They're all from different rescues.
He tends to be a low-key guy when he does stuff like this because he doesn't take us. I don't think he takes his celebrity that seriously.
He was there with his brother. He posted pictures with his brother. Why am I blanking on his name? Chad. And so Chad is apparently a Bengals fan, and Rob is a big Rams fan. So they had a family rivalry.
That's always a fun rivalry.
Yeah. So what was it like weather-wise, Jennifer? Yesterday in Los Angeles was near 90, I think Brendan told me. Yeah.
They said it on the game in the field it would have felt like it was 80-something, I guess 80-something degrees. But yeah, it was hot all weekend long. It got up. I saw it as high as 94 in my neck of the woods, but I think around game time it's probably about 86. Yeah.
How about that? I started Saturday. It was 50 degrees when I left the farm. By the time I got to upstate New York, it was 15 and snow. Woohoo! I think we're all of us here on the DJV program, Jennifer Horn, Victoria Keelan, Jay Kirshner, Doug Steffen, we're all, and we probably are tempted. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as you start your day doing small tasks, right? Brush your teeth, wash your face, comb your hair. But there are other things that perhaps ought to be in that box to check as you start your day, right? Maybe there are some things that make a big difference. Your attitude as you start the day, your concentration on the day, your focus on the day, That should be maybe after you've kind of sobered yourself up, you need to make that a priority, because there are all kinds of things. I know, because I do it myself, procrastination is a big thing. You got a busy life. Yeah, you have to prioritize things for sure. But when you don't want to do things that are out of your comfort zone, are there examples of that? Jay, when's the last time you did something you didn't want to do? Don't tell me get up and go on this program today.
I was going to say every day.
Don't steal my answer.
Nice.
No, I'm trying to think of the last time I did something that I really didn't want to do, because I am one of those people that if I genuinely don't want to do something, I won't. Mm-hmm. I make no apologies.
No, that's okay. That's good. That's being your own person. Victoria, what about you? When's the last time you did something you didn't want to do?
I don't know. I can't really.
She's doing what she wants to do. That's good. That's very success. That's success in itself. If you're not thinking about it, if it's not top of mind. Jennifer, what about you?
I don't know. I think, look, I'm a naturally shy person. I know everybody falls over and goes, no, you're not. But naturally, it is a push for me to challenge myself to do what I do, because I'm a public person for most of my life and on the air and all of that. So I don't know. I had a speaking engagement over the weekend, and I always think to myself, I'm like, gosh, how am I doing this? I used to hate public speaking, but at some point I just thought it's always been my mentality, you fake it till you make it, and until you start believing it. And so that's kind of how I got past my shyness when I was younger, is to just kind of fake that I wasn't shy anymore. And then it kind of fell into gear. But still, every once in a while, when I have to give speaking, speeches and stuff, I go, oh, it comes back and you go, okay, here I go. I can do this. Mm-hmm. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, it is. For me, it's something simple. I'm tired of putting a mask on, and I'm resisting it more and more. I find myself I go into a place and I have a mask in my pocket, but if everybody's not wearing a mask, I'm not wearing a mask. The mask mandates are being lifted all over the place. I see that Goldman Sachs and Chase, most of the banks, are lifting the requirements for wearing a mask. Most businesses are lifting the requirement to have employees wear masks in the
problem
office.
is that local governments still have the right of way. I mean, we just, we're on the other side of the Super Bowl now, and looking back, you didn't see many masks in the crowd.
Well, you just challenge it. There's not.
Well, the problem is that
jail.
For kids, you can't. And so kids in Los Angeles are still having to go to school with N95 masks indoors and on the playground. And meanwhile, you've got a bunch of celebrities and local elected politicians who are sitting around watching football with their masks off.
We all know the hypocrites.
How fair is that? I know, but it's not fair. And so I
was looking at something on one of the farm sites, because most people know that I'm a farmer in addition to being a broadcaster, and I get a lot of stuff, a lot of trade material from the various organizations, American Farm Bureau and the National Farmers Union, about how do you protect the people that are working on the farm that do not have vaccines. I didn't mandate the people that work with me on the farm get them, but I made it appear, it was for the common good. And all of the people that are, the three people that work the most have their shots. The youngster who works on the farm didn't have his shots, got a bad case of COVID and was out for 2 weeks. And I just said, okay, you made a decision, so that's it. There are a lot of people who are saying, I noticed something, as a matter of fact, this is from a New Jersey-based emergency medicine doctor whose name is Anand Swampthamarian. I don't know if that's how to pronounce his name, but at any rate, he
Uncle
says...
Anand.
What is he? Do you know who he is?
No. I
Anyway,
just said Uncle Anand. Yeah.
He says that lives of young people are being affected by not having vaccines. And I wonder how many people are paying attention to that. I'm wondering if the doctors that I have on this program, Dr. Jack Stockwell and Dr. Ken Kronos, would agree with that. Because they both were, Jack doesn't believe in vaccines anyway, but Ken was pretty hesitant about getting this vaccine into younger folks. He didn't think anything of the 18
I think they're doing more
plus.
studies, right?
But,
they for the 5 and unders, it's not approved yet. They're doing more studies.
Right.
It's the same thing. I mean, I think I told you guys last summer, I was talking to my dad's cardiologist, and he said he has had a lot of cases for young men, especially coming in.
So what is in the vaccine that makes them that screws up your heart? I'd like to know.
Gets your inflammation going for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
but the thing is, though, that's especially in younger men, that is very treatable, and most of that resolves at home. So that was not a reason that people shouldn't get the vaccine, because there were not that many cases of it on when you look at how many people got vaccinated and millions of people. That was not something. I mean, I've seen
I hear
lot
what you're
of
saying, but
cardiologists talk about that.
Think about it. It's like, I mean, I totally hear what you're saying, Victoria, but like when you think about it and you say, well, heart inflammation is not that big a deal. To some people, it really might be. To some people, it sounds like a big deal.
No, I'm saying in kids, the kids who have had a reaction from the vaccine, it either resolved on its own or there was medication and it went away. So and that didn't happen to every kid who got it.
Then what is worse? Then let's go 5 to 11-year-olds. 20% have had their first shot. So I'm looking at now a statement from the American Academy of Pediatrics, whether or not they strongly side on vaccinating children, and they don't seem to. It seems, there are those who talk about the huge risk there is to children. There's a moderate risk. Some people have gotten youngsters gotten super sick with COVID, but not a lot. Very small percentage has died, 12 kids, I think, have died of this. And so you look at overall around the country at the moment, 1% of the COVID cases are children who are under the age of 5. And I don't see a number for 5 to 11. My grandson has had his first shot. Didn't seem to affect him one way or another. In terms of his health is concerned. He was most of the kids in his school have had it. And so, okay. So what
I think is actually the scariest part is the new studies that are coming out about pregnant women who don't want to get the vaccine and and if they get COVID, what it can actually do. And it's really scary. I mean, one doctor said the quote was no fetus could survive that. And so the way COVID attacks the placenta, it's really.
You're talking about not the shot. You're talking about getting the disease.
Getting the disease, and not for pregnant women. Yeah, pregnant women should definitely think twice about getting. If they're saying, oh well, I don't want to get the vaccine until whatever, they're showing that there's a real risk to the fetus. And so,
Jasper, my grandson, is about 3 months old now, and he's a healthy, walloping.
Your daughter-in-law got the vaccine while she was pregnant.
She did. I think she was 4 months in when she got the vaccine.
Yeah.
Now, the FDA authorizing a new antibody treatment to fight this last version, at least the current version. There'll be more versions, but it'll just get taken care of kind of like with a regular flu shot, if you believe in those. The Eli Lilly folks have come up with a treatment. They've been kind of absent in all of this, so maybe they're trying to come up with something so that they can get in on the gravy train.
They had a different treatment early on. Yeah. They didn't work. They're not a vaccine company, but there was some other treatment that Eli Lilly had in the beginning. Maybe it was a different monoclonal antibody, because the ones that are on the market right now don't work against Omicron. And so that's why it's been sort of, everything gets politicized. But the bottom line is it doesn't work.
You want to try to pronounce this, Victoria? B-E-B, T-E-L-O-V-I-M-A-B.
What would your guess be?
Telavovimab. So that just
sounds official.
Yeah, this could be number 3. Just call it number 3 or something. Anyway, it's supposed to be used to treat patients for whom alternative COVID treatment options approved by the FDA aren't accessible or are inappropriate. So here's another. It's another monoclonal antibody. Do people even understand? Do you think after all this time, monoclonal is part of our lexicon we get?
I think so, right? Yeah. People know that if you're in the hospital and you have really bad COVID, that the antibody treatments were being used against Delta. It just doesn't seem to work against Omicron, which is why this one came out.
Are we still talking about the elderly, the compromised, the unvaccinated? Don't people, this has been 2 years already. Why are we still hammering away at that? It's
because
more,
the
all it does
elderly,
is serve the
if you're over
scare
65, and Dr. Ken would agree with this, and maybe Jack would too. I mean, there isn't a doctor that I've seen so many people, so many doctors talking about this. If you're over 65, this is not something to mess around with. You are still considered at risk, even if you're vaxxed and boosted.
But let's look at the Super Bowl this past weekend. What kind of a super spreader might that have been if it were last year? This year, all the bad behavior doesn't seem to be amounting to anything.
Well, we don't know yet, but sure.
But 75% of vaccinated people who have died from COVID had 4 major. See, this is what I've been saying all along. You didn't die for the most part from COVID. COVID may have put you over the edge, but the research from the Center for Disease Confusion this weekend suggests that more than 75% of vaccinated people who've died from COVID had 1, 2, 3, 4 medical risk factors. Some kind of the lung problem, heart problem, circulatory problem. Those are the sorts of things.
But a lot of people who have those issues have not died because they got vaccinated. To be on your own with all those conditions is pretty scary.
The unvaccinated still are the major number. People still go to the hospital. Most of them are unvaccinated. Food for thought.
At Kroger, fresh groceries are our thing, so we check your delivery order for freshness at every step from farm to store and pick and pack every veggie in your free pickup order with care, because we treat your food the way we'd want ours to be treated. We're fresh every day, so shop anyway. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Free pickup on orders of $35 or more. Restrictions may apply.
And now you'll find more ways to save on your favorites. When you download digital coupons, you can use up to 5 times in one transaction. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
A lot of people are still grousing about Bob Saget, Jay, as more information comes out about what happened. It's not just as simple. It was simple at the beginning, and then it was made more complicated, and that was sort of simplified. And now there's something else that makes it complicated again. There are about 3 or 4 things in here that keep getting piled on, like the fact that he was positive for COVID, right?
Well, and he had mentioned on a podcast prior to his very last comedy show that he had recently had COVID. He was recovering. So kind of the question remains, was he just still testing positive, or was he still symptomatic? Was he still fighting it? What was going on there? And we know he fell and died in his sleep. He had a head trauma. Well, the Orange County Medical Examiner is giving us more information into the whole thing, that there was hemorrhaging, blood was forming between the skull and the scalp. He had the bruises and discoloration on his eyes. He hit the back of his head so hard that it caused fractures at the front of his head. But also, something that the medical examiner found was, it seems like his heart was also a ticking time bomb. He had an enlarged heart. He had damage or disease in a major blood vessel.
Didn't he go see a doctor? I mean, then why would somebody that exposed not have a regular checkup?
Didn't he have a heart issue though in the past, right? I mean, they said one of his arteries was 95% blocked. That's pretty bad. I mean, that would have been an issue had he lived maybe in the next year or so. He would have had to address that. But it is really strange because it sounds like maybe he slipped and fell getting out of the shower and hit his head.
Because one of the damage is on the front of his skull too, right?
Well, the way that neuroscientists have explained this is that, like, when you hit the back of your head with a lot of impact, it shifts everything forward, so it can cause bruising under your eyes. Wow. And because stuff gets moved around. So, but he probably just never told his wife, or maybe he spoke to his wife, because we know they spoke on the phone right before that was the day before he died, or the day of. He was about to get on a flight, or he went to bed. And then maybe he spoke to his wife, slipped and fell in the shower, hit his head, thought there was nothing wrong, and then went to sleep, and that was it. But it looks like it was a pretty bad fall. Whatever happened, it was a bad fall.
Well, what's the lesson What do we take away from this? I don't
The
know.
lesson is if you hit the back of your head, don't lay down. Go to a doctor.
Don't think you're
immediately.
invincible.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That sounds like a bad hit. They said it's consistent with falling down the stairs or something. I mean, that's not good.
I know a man who was
that
a
sounds like
congressman.
marble in a shower to me, right? Like they could have that impact.
Yeah. Like complete slip. His feet went out from under him.
A friend who was, when I used to be on the board of trustees of my alma mater, this fellow was a congressman from Northwest Ohio, and he fell down. He was 69 years old, and he had an apartment in Washington where he stayed during the week, and he fell down the stairs, hit the back of his head, and bled out. There was nobody there, and that was the end of him. So these are stair things. I've slipped on the ice a couple of times this past week. My sister got me cleats for my boots, so now I won't go outside and slip anymore. But it's actually, it's this time of year, you're taking your life in your hands. You go outside after there's been precipitation, and you walk around, and you're liable, if, as I did, fall down. I get to the point where I put my shoulder back so that it catches me, as I've been there and done that and didn't have good results.
I am Robert Strickler. My wife Joyce and I have been married for 53 years. Certainly one of the really important things in my life are our children and our grandchildren. I am essentially a writer. I've been involved in communications in the media. I've been an avid fly fisherman for at least 40 or more years. I've been taking Prevagen on a regular basis for at least 8 years. For me, the greatest benefit over the years has been that Prevagen seems to help me recall things and also think more clearly, have a crisper ability to remember and think through things. And I enthusiastically recommend Prevagen. It has helped me an awful lot.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. Robert Strickler is a content contributor for Prevagen and real user, based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who are cognitively normal or mildly impaired. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Okay, let's get to Wendy Williams here, Jay, and what's going on with her. She's off her television program. She's been in a wheelchair. She seems not herself. So what really is going on here?
Well, she's definitely battling some health things, but now she has to battle her own bank, who has they've frozen all of her accounts. She's demanding access. Now, in Wells Fargo freezing all of her accounts, she's falling behind on bills. She has people on payroll that are not able to be paid. And this all stems from what Wendy Williams is claiming to be a former employee who is now a disgruntled former employee who was fired because they weren't really doing their job with their business accounts. And apparently this person went to Wells Fargo and was like, she's not of sound mind. So Wells Fargo took it amongst themselves to be like, well, she should probably be in a conservatorship. Let's freeze all of her assets. Like, how do they have the authority? Yeah, how is this their decision to be made?
The trouble with banks, concentration of wealth and power in these huge banks. That's why I do business with a little bank that has 3 offices, and that's it. I don't want somebody telling me what I can do with my money. It's my money. It's not your money. It's my money. So I would think they'd be opened up for a hell of a lawsuit. Wells Fargo has always been an awful Chase. They're all, well, some of them aren't as bad as others, but Wells Fargo is probably number 1 in being a horror show. You should get Jennifer to tell you sometime about the dealing with them where they had their company account, the company she and her dad runs at Wells Fargo. Nightmare City, all the time. This is the DJV Download. I'm Doug.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Victoria.
This podcast made possible in part by Calitrin, the safe way to lose weight, Prevagen, keeping your brain healthy, and MyPillow, guaranteed the most comfortable pillow you'll ever own. Somebody asked me the other day how he could lose his belly fat.
Calitrin targets all over body fat. Of course, belly fat tends to be where everybody carries it, but Calitrin just really gives your body back what it needs. So it revs up your metabolism naturally, and you burn off those fats and sugars the way that your body wants to. So you do lose the belly fat along with just all over toning too.
So does Calitrin work best with a diet, with an exercise program?
Well, we have people that have had success with it both ways. Obviously, if you're eating better, eating in moderation, staying away from the sugars and the sodas, you're going to see results faster than if you're just taking it by itself. But our 90-day program, that huge 86% success rate that we have, that's just with taking Calitrin alone. So check it out on our website, toploss.com. All the information is at toploss.com. That's TOPLOSS.com. LOSS.com, or call us 1-833-TOP-LOSS.
And use the DJV code for all these specials when you check out.
At Kroger, fresh groceries are our thing, so we check